Welcome to the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I'm Nicole Eaton, author of the books Rock Your Soul and Rock Your Comeback, as well as an intuitive therapist, and I'm here to remind you of your power. This podcast focuses on mindset and inviting the universe in to create a life that feels so good, so aligned, and so authentic. I hope you're ready. Welcome back to another episode of the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Eaton, and I wanted to say a little thank you. It's always so helpful to get your feedback, to hear what you have to say, and this podcast does not exist without listeners. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, leave a positive review, and definitely share with somebody who you feel like needs this episode. This episode is so good. I sat down with my friend, psychic medium Christopher Stilson. He talks all about what it really is like to be a psychic and the insights that have come from that, including how to leverage your luck. So it's a really cool episode. It's pretty different than what we've talked about in the past. So I hope you love it. Something that has been coming up that I just wanted to address quickly is people are asking me, how can I work with you? And as much as I think I talk about this stuff, I don't. So here are a couple ways that if you've been really interested in this content, that you can work with me. One, and probably the quickest, easiest way, is that I have an online membership called the Comeback Club. We do lives every single Friday that you can chat with me, have a pep talk, and then one Friday a month we do a live Q&A. So if you're needing advice and you just need a little support and you've got something going on in your life that you just want to hash out with somebody, we hold a live Q&A this Friday at noon. So if you're not in on the Comeback Club, there's still time to get in on the Comeback Club if you sign up for Friday at noon. And then you can ask all that advice. And if you use the code THANKS, it will give you the first month for $5. And then it's only $22 after that. And that's literally the cheapest therapy you'll find. And also this month, we have a masterclass coming up on self-love and how to infuse love into your life with specialist Samantha Blossom. So I can't wait to bring the Comeback Club stuff for you sooner. We also do mini courses. Every course I've ever made is there, and I do a Monday journal prompt as well. Also, I do intuitive therapy sessions. I don't advertise for them because they book up pretty quick. But if you have any interest in getting in with me, I really merge traditional therapy. I am a licensed mental health counselor and intuitive energy. So we can kind of dive into where you're blocked, any energetic messages, as well as the mindset and manifestation stuff. So it's a lot of fun, and I would love to work with you if you feel called. But now we're going to hang out with Christopher Stilson and learn more about embracing and leveraging your luck and creating luck in your life and what it's like to be a psychic medium. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Eaton, author of the book Rock Your Comeback, and I'm here to remind you of your power. And I always bring fun guests on to help you, remind you of your power as well. And this week is no different. Because it's St. Patty's Day week, I felt like it would be fun to talk about luck. And a dear friend of mine, he is a psychic medium in feng shui guy. He does all the things. He's from Elmira. You're going to want to know him. You're going to want to meet him. And I'm so blessed to call him a friend and so grateful he agreed to come on the show today. So welcome, Christopher Stilson.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Chris and I just got off a live. We do a monthly live on our Level Up Your Luck Facebook group. So if that's something you want to jump in on, it's on a Monday at noon. It's a little different every month, but we talk about some fun stuff in there. So I'll post a link. But I think a lot of people are always curious about how does one become a psychic medium? So I would love if you want to share your story a little.
Okay, so how it all started for me as a psychic is I was born psychic. By the age of 4 is when I can actually recall communicating with spirit and tapping into those senses and seeing things and knowing things. I actually met my spirit guide Anna at the age of 4, and she's been with me ever since. And I've only seen her once when I was 4, and then ever since then I've only heard her voice as she guided me throughout my life. When I got into middle school, I realized that nobody else shared this experience. No one else was doing what I do. So I came across the word schizophrenic, and I diagnosed myself with schizophrenia, and thinking that this is just what it was. And when I got into high school, I started suffering. Well, I started suffering from anxiety throughout middle school as well, but I was having a really bad panic attack in high school. And I said out loud, I just want this anxiety to go away. And that voice that has always been there, my spirit guide, Anna, she said, well, if you would just listen to me, I can help you. And I'm in agreement. If you could help me, I will from now on learn. I'll learn and you can, help me throughout my life. If you can't, leave me the hell alone. And she was right. And this is where I am now, doing readings and changing people's lives.
I think this is such an important thing to talk about, though, because for somebody listening who's like, I know for me, when I started developing my intuition, it did make me feel crazy because why did I know these things? Where was this coming from? And I'm a skeptic. I always tell people this, like, I understand the skepticism because I'm somebody who wants the science. I want the data. I want to know. So for somebody listening, like, how do you really differentiate whether you have schizophrenia or whether you are talking to the dead or talking to a spirit guide?
So I actually asked Anna that question because I wanted to know an answer before I went on with anything. And she explained it to me as with schizophrenia, people are usually paranoid. They pretty much have a paranoia. They pretty much, they hear the words, lock your doors, they're coming after you, or they have other symptoms of just that kind of paranoid trait. I never had that. I never felt paranoid when I heard anything or seen anything. My body would malfunction, but I would never go into the episodes you would sort of speak of. But that's what she explained it to me as.
Yeah. And for me, like personally, when I think about intuition always calm and it's always loving.
Mhm.
There's just like when you're like trying to assess that within yourself, like let's say you're having really psychic dreams or you're having these like knowings or you're just feeling energy around you, I think it can feel really like what, and we're trained as a society to be like, something's wrong here. Like this isn't normal. But the thing is that I believe anyway, is that it is normal. So if you are hearing voices that are telling you to do bad things or are making you feel awful and you're feeling really scared and paranoid, you probably have schizophrenia. Like you probably should see somebody and consult with somebody. If you are feeling like you're hearing guidance that feels positive, that feels loving, that feels like, and I think one of the healthiest things that you can do as somebody who's intuitive is be a skeptic. I really
Yeah.
do. I think there is something powerful, like me having those experiences, you having those experiences. It's like, I'm aware that that's not normal. I think that's too like a self-awareness that like this isn't normal or not everybody experiences this as a healthy way to approach any intuition as you're learning what to do. But I think most people are intuitive. We just learn that it's not acceptable and learn that it's not okay and whatever else. So I love that, you're making that so people can hear themselves speak and hear and connect with their spirit guides. Do you feel like everybody has spirit guides?
I do believe everyone has spirit guides. We choose our spirit guide before coming into the physical world. And people all the time ask me, is it my mom? Is it my grandma? Well, who guided you to the day your grandma or mother died? You would have to have somebody there. Your loved ones can guide you, your loved ones can help you, but you have a spirit guide who is trained because there is training over there for spirit guides. And also, they know your chart and your study of the Akashic record strongly. And what I really love is that they know you better than you know yourself. And I find that so interesting. So everyone does. I always tell people, though, the people that step out of line are the ones that do not have spirit guides. And that is such people as Jeffrey Dahmer, for example, or Adolf Hitler. They probably were born when they first came to the physical world with one. But they turn their back from God, they turn their back from their spirit guide, they go completely off course. And that's what created the way that they are and what they did.
Do you feel like your spirit guide and your intuition are same or different?
I believe they're different. I believe they're different, but I also believe that you can feel spirit guide's message through intuition, but intuition is more of a sense of feeling through spiritual divineness.
I think it's important to have options of how do I connect with intuition? What feels good and right to me? Is it working through a spirit guide? I've never been somebody who felt like it was like separate than me. I think maybe when I first started, but I know a lot of people feel that connection is different or stronger. So I think I would remind people like intuitively, whatever it feels like for you, there's no right answer in any of this. I really feel like that's like something I want to say is like, there's no right answer of how you connect with your intuition. It might be different than me. It might be different than Chris. And it might be more powerful than both of us. I don't know, like it's really cool that the way we connect with our soul selves in the universe is individual. Everybody has a different experience. So I love that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I believe too, is that, yeah, everyone's born psychic, but everyone's going to get information differently anyways, whether it's through hearing, knowing, feeling, seeing. And it's kind of like I always tell people, it's kind of like that telephone game where you're hearing something and you have to relate to somebody else. It's always going to be, you can relay the messages differently. Sometimes you might not get a full message. Maybe you're just seeing something that's guiding you in a different way, but you're always going to get some type of information somewhere.
No, I think that one of the things that's true for both of us is that the psychic intuitive energy, like for me at least, was a gateway into like a deeper understanding of spirituality and a deeper understanding of like, I grew up without any religion. Like I didn't grow up with God. I didn't grow up believing I had a like God spark in me. It's hilarious to me now. Like if I would go back 10 years ago and be like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about spirituality and God on a daily basis. I would have been like, you're off your rocker. There's no way, because I just didn't grow up with it. But as I started to develop my intuition, there were just moments and occurrences where I was like, I can't I can't deny that something else is at play here. I can't pretend that there's nothing else. Like there's too many quote unquote coincidences that are real and like just insane. I'm curious for you, like what awarenesses you've had about like spirituality or the bigger picture of things since like owning your, psychicness.
So I actually had a conversation today about this. It's funny, because we were talking about and discussing religion and connecting with religion. And I remember as a child, we never went to church. We were never forced to go to church or anything like that. But I would always talk about God. It was just this situation that I just felt the need to always talk about God. And I remember one time I was hanging out with somebody and I just started preaching as if like I knew what I was talking about. And it made sense to them, but it was just not making sense to me because I'm like, I'd never been, and I was never in a church. So I would have to say that as time went on, I started studying different religions because I felt like there was something bigger than me. I felt like there was something, out there, and I needed to get down to where it was. And I started studying the different things. I studied like Buddhism, and I looked into numerous just different levels of different religions. And finally, when I heard the word agnostic, it like hit me. And what I call myself is an agnostic Christian. So I believe in God. It's a Christian-based religion. But agnostic means seeker of my own truth. I was getting sick of the dogma behind religion and the control behind religion and all of that. That's what kept steering me away. So when I first heard about finding my own self, but connecting with God that way, I just fell in love. And Anna always kind of pushed me in that direction of God because it was where it needed to be. And I actually finally had an experience where I was very depressed. I didn't want anything to do with life anymore. And I remember sitting down in a dark room, and it was pitch black. My head was on the bed, like laying against the door. And all of a sudden the room just lit up. And I felt this very warm, loving energy that I've never felt before in my life. And then it went away. And I said to Anna, what the hell was that? She goes, well, God just visited you. He can do that. And I just completely fell in love with the whole topic of God and started studying more into it.
I think it's so fascinating. I actually went on like learn everything about different types of religion as well. When I started the intuition stuff, I was like, I got to understand this, like, because I just, didn't have any personal beliefs growing up. So for me, it was kind of like, well, what's true? Like, out of all these religions, like, what one's the right one? And like, what one, and I just discovered that there's commonalities amongst all of them, and if you look at the commonalities, their prayer and intention are really important. And that the universe is love, and just being yourself is the most powerful thing, and that you're guided and protected. And that's such a good feeling. And I really think that it's used to explain the unexplainable and to bring comfort, especially in times of darkness. And so, for anybody who's listening who's like, I have all these beliefs, explore, just get curious about what's true for you, or what works for you, what feels right and good to you. For me, I go to like, I really like Stephen Furtick at Elevation Church, because I feel like it's very uplifting, very motivational. A lot of people hate it because it's not by the book, but I'm not a by the book person, and I won't be. I love Course in Miracles, but this is your sign to find what works for you within your spirituality, and what that that gets to be designed, I think.
Yeah. And the one thing I do like to mention to people too is that you don't have to use the word God if you don't want to. You can use the word universe or whatever, because of whatever energy is energy, just like you explained. But I always tell people, if there is any religion that you're a part of that is trying to control you, it is not a religion, it's a cult. And I firmly like to put that out there, because you shouldn't be controlled by religion. A religion should be loving, best energy, putting your best foot forward, and you putting the best intention into life as good humans and good people. And the one thing that I've learned is love God, love others, and do good. That's the 3 steps of just living your life, and doing what you need to do. So I always just explain to people, if some religion's trying to tell you what to do, step away and think about that.
I feel like I want to share a story really quick, because I want to talk about, St. Patty's Day, we were talking about luck, but I just want to share this really quickly. Because we're on the topic of religion, it took me a long time to use the word God. Still now I'm like mindful of how much I'm using it, because I use the word universe, because that for me feels a little more neutral. But when I first started doing, intuition work and meditation, like I was like, hated the rigidity of some of the religions, and was like, I don't even know what out of these religions is true. So I was like hardcore convinced that like the whole Jesus thing was made up and blah, blah, blah. So that's just me being really honest,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I remember one day I'm like, this is BS. I go into a meditation, and I'm literally sitting in the forest back in New York. Like I would just go and like sit and meditate in the woods. Like, if you ever come across a girl like just sitting in the woods, don't ask questions, just carry on. Like I would like to meditate there, because it was just so peaceful and I felt so grounded. So I was in this deep meditation in the middle of the woods, and I just see this figure walk towards me, and I just had a like, oh shit, like that's Jesus. And I was like, oh, you're real. Like I had this like moment where I was like, I'm very sorry, sir. But it's just funny because having intuitive experiences and energetic experiences can open your mind to things that you previously believed were true or untrue. Have experiences that you previously believed were good or bad. Like it can really rock your belief system when it comes to this work and this stuff. And I think that's one of my favorite things about it, because sometimes you think and you have the answers, and then you find out you didn't know it all.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Because even as a psychic, I still learn new things about everything. Like, and I'm a skeptic person too. So when you tap into those things and it gets thrown back at you going, here's the proof, or here's the knowledge on this, or I always tell people, it's funny because I will argue with Anna and she'll just kind of like listen to me. And then she'll say like a couple words. And I'm like, oh, you're right. Like that makes sense. So, it always happens.
So one of the things that I know you've talked a lot about, and I want to make sure we get to today, is the 3 different kinds of luck. And luck, when we think about luck, I don't think luck is necessarily coincidental in the way it sounded maybe previous believed. So how do you define luck for the work you do?
I believe that creating the energy towards things creates the better it's manifesting. It's the laws. It's the universal laws, and using those universal laws to create a better life for yourself, or tapping into a better life for yourself. I believe that people can have all the good luck, all they want in their life, as long as they're going by what they can connect with fully and do good things and connect with better energy. And so I don't really believe it's like this, magical thing that happens if you carry a rabbit's foot around with you. It's more of a sense of connecting with what you can connect with in a better energy and atmosphere. And it just kind of triggers in with amplifying that law of attraction, law of vibration, and allows you to completely get all that you could imagine in life.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds ideal, but where do we start?
So there are 3 lucks that we are born with, which I absolutely love. And so each luck, believe it or not, is 33.3% of your manifesting. So when you work with all 3 of those, you're working with 99.9% of your manifesting. So you're literally just creating the life overall. And the first thing that we always have to tap into, now, mind you, when I studied in this stuff too, I work with all 3 with people overall too. And the first luck you have to tap into is your earth luck. And your earth luck is your feng shui, is your environment surrounding you and the people that surround you as well, but mostly your environment. And as you're tapping into your environment and and what you see around your home or your office space, you are bringing that into your life. So, for example, if you have clutter and you have a cluttered space around you, you're allowing the universe to know, because you're sending a message out to the universe and you're sending a message subconsciously, but you're allowing the universe to know, I don't have space for anything else. Don't send me any new opportunities. So if you want new opportunities in your life, you have to clear your space out. You have to make the room for those new opportunities. And with feng shui isn't this, it's not based on religion. It's not, anything that's, it's mainly just based off of the quantum physics and the laws, and how you can literally start creating your life by placing certain things in certain areas of your home as well. And this creates better energy and obviously a better atmosphere, which allows you to bring in just a better life. And you have to think about it as your home being a 3D vision board. And when you don't have certain things in your house that may be allowing you to amplify your life, or if you feel depressed all the time in your home, or cluttered, or anxiety, look around your house, and once you start clearing things out, you will start to feel better.
Yeah. And so for people listening to that, I know that there was a time when my kids were really little and I felt like I just could not keep up. And that was something that was really hard for me because I felt so chaotic, because the minute I got home, there was just so much to do and the kids were needing me. And so what I'll say that helped me tremendously, because I am a type B person, I don't have an ounce of OCD in my body, that I had to take things very slow, but just dedicate 5 minutes a day to a corner, dedicate 5 minutes a day to addressing that pile of laundry. If I could move it up to 10 minutes, I would do 10 minutes. But for me, it was like I couldn't overcommit to the time I spent on it, because then I'd get overwhelmed. Or I'm also a person who would like pull all the clothes out of my closet and think like start something and then just be so overwhelmed that now I've just got clothes out of my closet for, 3 days before I have the energy to clean it back up. So for somebody who's hearing this and is like, I really do want to start cleaning and clearing my space out, take 5 to 10 minutes a day and just set a timer. And when it's done, you're done. And then you do it tomorrow. And I'm telling you, that adds up so much.
Yeah. And I'm really happy that you brought up corners of the house, because when you're born, you're actually born with an energy number. Everyone has that. And so I'm a number 7, which is known as the advisor, which I absolutely love. But we all have personal energy, personal directions: success, wisdom, relationship, and health, which are technically different areas of your home. So if you're looking at your office space and you feel like you're not being as successful in your office space, take that corner or whatever direction your office space is with your success direction and amplify that up, clean it out. It may be cluttered and you're cluttering your success. It may have some issues or, pictures in there make you feel depressed or upset. and that may be stopping you from having that success. So you can actually take those 5 minutes, like Nicole said, and clean out that direction for yourself to help amplify those different areas of your life.
And how do people find their success direction? I know like you've helped me tremendously of like understanding what that means, but how can they find it? I know they can work with you. You have feng shui services.
Yep, I do feng shui services. And then you can go through the Marie Diamond app because I studied through Marie Diamond, who is a feng shui master. She was on The Secret. If any of you guys know The Secret, she was a star in the documentary. But you can get her app called the Marie Diamond app. And when you put your information in, there's actually a compass on there. So you can just hold the compass out and it'll show you the different directions. And then you can also get her book, which I have, but it's called the Energy Number book. And it will not only will it tell you where your personal directions are, but it can also tell you what to place in those directions to activate the directions for you. Because when you think about it, your house is like a human body. And then when you place certain things in a certain direction for yourself, it's like an acupuncture. It's like a needle going into that area, which is then creating a better flow of chi and bringing in better energy for you.
I love that. And it does matter if you've ever cleared out a space or cleared out a room, or when I was in New York, we flipped houses. And so when we would tear up a floor, it would change the entire energy of the space. Or when we'd paint the walls or replace the cabinets, like you don't have to go that deep, but just if you are super unsettled in your house, it's worth looking into like what was going on in here. The one house we lived in was like a refuge house for a church. So for people whose families had their house catch on fire or needed to escape in the middle of the night for some reason, that's where they would go. So when it was sold, it was, sold to us, and that's the energy we walked into. So sometimes it can be like physical stuff, but sometimes it can also be a little deeper than that. So I just want to point that out.
Yeah. And I love that you bring up energy too, because one thing that I've learned through the feng shui studies is obviously if you can't rip a floor up yourself right now, you guys, too, like let's say you just can't afford that right now, which is completely fine because once you start working on the feng shui, that helps with your income as well. But you can also use lavender oil. So you can get a bucket of warm water and then 10 drops of lavender oil, and you can clean the house with that. And lavender clears out physical energy. So if you need to just mop that damn floor for a little bit, then go ahead and do it until you can get it ripped up.
I also love this because I didn't really know. I'm like a big sage person. I'm a big Palo Santo person, but I don't really naturally like the smell of lavender. So when you suggested that, I was like, damn it, I don't really want to spray lavender around my house. But I'll tell you what, I got like a little spray for even just my pillow. And I like sleep so much better. I sleep and I have the best dreams. Like I really do sleep better. So write these tips down because Chris knows what he's talking about when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, I put a couple drops of lavender in my cleaning products. So whenever I'm cleaning the house, it's clearing out the energy as well. And there's nothing wrong with sage. But I believe personally that sage clears out a lot of the spiritual energy that's left behind, negative energy, or whatever you want to call it, and things like that. But I believe the lavender clears out the physical stuff, and it really gets deep down in there.
Yeah, I love that. So we've talked about the earth luck and the things that we could physically control in our environment. And I know we didn't necessarily touch on it, but that's also people, guys. If you need to clear any people out of your life so that you can feel lighter or better, strongly consider it. But I also know that like we're talking about human luck next, right? And could you explain that?
So human luck is another 33.3% of your manifesting. And human luck is how you react to things, your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And it's similar to like when people's favorite way of explaining it is when you wake up in the morning and you stub your toe. Well, if you keep on holding a grudge on stubbing your toe all day, you're going to have a bad day because you created that energy for that. But if you stub your toe and just go, okay, that hurt, but now let's move on, it's creating that better energy, and you're reacting differently, bringing in better energy for yourself.
Yeah, I think that our thoughts are, we talk a lot about manifesting through thoughts on this podcast. And I think that your thoughts are so important for guiding that, but your thoughts also produce energy. And when you have, they keep you stuck in a lot of different ways. So even if you just believe nothing good's going to happen, you're less likely to do the things that will make the good things happen. Like it not only, not only creates a filter for the way you're seeing your world, but it also creates inactivity or activity in your behaviors and actions that are helping you to move forward or keeping you from moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. We have to be people because we're human. We have things that happen. We have things that may be distraught sometimes. For crying out loud, I just had my great grandmother pass away a few weeks ago. And for a week, I was kind of in a stuck energy. And, it was difficult because being human, I still grieve. Just because I can talk to them doesn't mean I'm not going to grieve. And, I had to say to myself, nope. And I got out the lavender. I started cleaning everything up. I started opening windows to let fresh air in, even though it was cold. Things like that. Because when you start changing how your reaction and your thoughts are, it is definitely an amplifier to what your life is. So when you get into these higher vibrations, and you can easily, if you're starting to feel down about something, turn on some music and start dancing, or something that will help raise that vibration up because that will help your life overall.
Yeah, I think it's important. And one of the things that we had talked about on the level up group that we were just on was how one of these things can impact another. So if you're feeling particularly stuck or you're going through a really hard grief, this is a reminder that you can work on other things. If you don't feel like I can even like manage my thoughts today, today is just not the day for that. Manage your space, clean something, move something, organize something, get rid of something that will have a ripple effect onto your mind as well. I think that's really important because I think a lot of people feel stuck in their thoughts and rightfully so in many cases that we feel stuck in our thoughts, but changing one thing changes everything. And I really, really believe that.
And I agree with you with that because they actually say the reason why you should work on your earth luck first is because it sends a ripple effect to your human luck and your the third luck, which is your heaven luck, which we'll talk about in a second. But it sends that ripple effect into those because you're clearing out the environment. So if you may have a lot of thoughts going on in your head and stuff, think about your home. Do you have a cluttered home right now? Is there something that's cluttered in your home? Because you may be overthinking or feeling cluttered because it may be cluttered and you want to get rid of that clutter. What I find interesting too is if you really are having an issue with your lungs, so you're having issues with breathing, or if you're having issues with your thoughts, clean your windows because your windows being clear actually help you think more clear.
Interesting. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that a lot. So we've got our earth luck and we've got our human luck. Those are the two things that you can control well. What is the last one? I know you said heaven luck.
Heaven luck. So heaven luck is your another 33.3% of your manifesting. And heaven luck is your destiny, your charts on the other side that you decided to come here with. Because we all, before coming here, we decided to write out our lives. We decided to choose everything that we're going to go through. And we do have free will, obviously. But we do decide because, we do decide because Earth is just one big school. And you think about like you're on the other side and you're picking your classes out. So because you're picking your classes out, you're coming here to learn whatever it is that you want to learn. So heaven luck is what your destiny is and what you chose to be. And the best way to tap into your heaven luck is to tap in with the other side. Allow yourself to be guided by God, the universe, your loved one, spirit, and your spirit guide, angels. All of your whole team that you come here with is on the other side, and they're here to help you. So once you start tapping more with them, hello, help me, I need guidance, I need help, then that allows you to tap into that 33.3%.
Yeah. How do you personally tap into that?
I always tell people the best way to do so is meditation. The more relaxed the mind and body is, the more information you're going to get. And ask questions. Spirit will answer you unless you ask something. So you need to ask a question. What's my next step in my career? Should I go along this area? What should I do next with this? And the sad part is, as a psychic, I can't read my own life. It's a rule, because we have rules on the other side, you guys, that are apparently written down, and we have to follow those. But I can't read my whole life. But the thing with Anna is that she can guide me through certain things. So just listening in, tapping into your intuition, connecting with um, a quiet space, or a higher vibration. So when you're in a low, dumpy, like depressed mood, you're not going to connect very well. So there's numerous ways you can.
Yeah, and I was saying earlier, my favorite practice is just sitting down with the Course in Miracles and opening it up and just seeing what message it has. And it doesn't have to be like a religious or a spiritual text. You can just open a nonfiction book and just see where your eyes get drawn into what line. But just anything that helps you remind yourself that you are connected, you are guided, you are an extension of source energy, you are a co-creator, you are an extension of the power that creates worlds. Like, I like being supported, and I do love meditation. That's something that I am working on doing more of this month. But also manifesting, like writing it down physically, for me is my way of plugging it, because I write a manifestation letter to the universe every single morning as a thank you letter for the things that I already have and the things that I anticipate will happen for me throughout the day. So I get to kind of design my day and how I want to feel and how I want to connect with people, and invite the universe in to support that process and guide that process in the meantime. But finding whatever you believe in and finding whatever way it feels good for you to believe in that, it's going to help you hear your intuition louder so that you can do the human luck part where you take action, and then extend it into your earth luck where you're maybe clearing out space, but it's all wrapped together. I love
Yeah.
this. I think
Yeah.
this is going to help so many people feel. And when I think of luck and I'm thinking of all these elements, what I'm actually thinking is aligned.
Yeah.
Because when you're in alignment, things just happen super easy. So if we want to call it luck, cool, you know what I mean? But I think it is also just the way we are aligned with our best version of ourselves, with the clearest, most connected version of ourselves, that allows opportunities and synchronicities to happen in such a way that it does feel really lucky.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I think that just people, it's society and how society pushes things off. So when you hear about luck, you think of mumbo jumbo things, or like, the fourth clover, or, things like that, which I'm not saying won't bring luck, because it's all based on setting an intention too. So you can set an intention on a rock and you can say, this rock's going to bring me money. You can put that focus and set, attention on that rock, and that rock will become lucky for you in a way. But I think that people kind of just push it off as this magical thing. And technically it feels magical. It is somewhat magical, but in reality, luck is just based off of creating and magnifying and being at the most highest self to allow good things to happen.
Yeah, I love that. I love this conversation, because we're putting this out right by St. Patty's Day, the day of luck, the day of four-leaf clovers, that we're teaching you how to create your own luck. That's what this conversation is this is how to create your own luck in your life through your intuition, through the things that you do in your house and in your space, and through connecting with the universe. I love this conversation, Chris. I'm so happy you came today.
Yes, I'm happy I got to talk to you today on here too.
Do you feel called to share anything else before we close up today?
Well, and when we were talking about ways to connecting with your heaven luck, Anna was chiming in, and I have to remind people about water real quick. So water is a very purifying, obviously, element, but water is also a charge for spirit. So the best way to connect with spirit as well is taking showers and communicating with your loved ones or your spirit guide, because as you're in the shower, washing up, relaxing, the water is a charge for spirit, and you'll get information more that way.
Does it work if you're near water, or do you have to be in water?
I'm assuming that it has to be with the fact of being near the water overall, because they can charge obviously where you're at. So having it that way, but I always love the fact of just kind of when you're taking showers, people tend to feel more relaxed anyway. So the more relaxed you are, plus the water allows you to connect deeper.
I have a lakefront property that I own, and it doesn't have any buildings on it right now. So the kids and I just go over there and do picnics. But we were there yesterday, and it's just like so serene and peaceful, and it's such a good feeling over there. And we just sat and like watched the water go by for probably 3 hours yesterday. And I was like, oh, Like this is like supercharging my soul and obviously getting out in nature, but I was just curious about that.
I love that. Yeah, you most likely you're just going to feel and sense things like that too because the water just charges.
Now you have a couple books out. Do you want to talk about those?
Yes, so I have a book called Global Conscious Entrepreneurs, written with Marie Diamond, which was wonderful. And that became #1 bestseller in 8 countries. So that's where the international best-selling author comes into play. And then I have a workbook that I worked on called Taking It Back. And it is based on the 3 Lux, where you are actually connecting with the 3 Lux. It gives you information on the 3 Lux, and it gives you 3 different things to work on in each Lux to help you start amplifying and changing that. So that was very excited. And just between all of us here, I'm actually working on a 3rd book now. So
Yay! Oh, I can't wait for it. And you're gonna want to get the books. You're gonna want to get the workbook, especially. It really like walks you through that. And you're gonna want to book a session with Chris because he has some incredible services from psychic readings to feng shui to transformational coaching, and he will change your life. 10 out of 10 recommend him.
yes, I love it. And I hope to see you guys.
And what's a way that they can, I'll put it in the show notes, but what's a way they can connect with you to do any of this?
I have a website, christopherstilson.com. That's one of the best ways to get information from me, and they'll have the links on there for the Facebook and all of that stuff too, and the contact information.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you came.
Awesome. Well, God bless you, honey. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Make sure to get a copy of my latest book, Rock Your Comeback, The Down to Earth Guide to Reclaiming Your Power, just about everywhere books are sold. Join the Comeback Club for exclusive access, masterclasses, and more. And I always love to know what you think, so make sure to shoot me a DM or leave me a review. Thanks for listening to the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I hope you're feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to take on the world. Now go step back into your power. The world's been waiting for you. But first, if you could, leave me a review or share with a friend. Thank you.